Hey everyone, it's good to see you all again. I know that it has been a while that I haven't posted a video, but as in the last episode I mentioned that I'm gonna make a Q&A video. So in this episode I'm gonna answer some questions which you asked me, and let's get started now. The first question is coming from Felix, and he asked me that if you could live your life again, what would you do differently? So I would say that actually I have a really huge passion for learning different new languages. So particularly at the moment I'm learning Spanish. So I'm like really into learning this language, and I really want to improve myself and get fluent in this language in near future. And I would say that if I would reborn again, I would start learning and put more effort on learning languages since my childhood, and then continue learning more other languages. Then the next question is about what is your favorite country in Europe and why is it Germany? Well, I wouldn't say that Germany is my most favorite country, although I like it so much. But I have been there a few times. I really like the country itself, and I got a lot of friends from there, and I really like that country. But my favorite country, I would say, after going to Spain and like spending my half a year there, I would say that now it's Spain for me, because like it's one of the most like main destinations for me to go again, and particularly for the language, of course, to practice there and see that whole atmosphere. Since my childhood was that country, my favorite country was France, and I really like the culture and the language, of course. And by the way, I'm a huge football fan of Olympique Lyon, and that was another reason for me to be a huge fan of this country. The next question is coming from Farid, and he asked me that you're one of my close friends who has been like traveling a lot in different countries, and since this time, what is your favorite country, and tell us about that. So basically, I would say that I have been in several countries, and one of the most interesting countries was for me, I would say, it was South Korea and Norway. Well, there were a lot of different countries that I would recommend, but I really enjoyed, but I particularly remember this two. Was, I think for me, was Norway was really special because it was like the first time that I was like going really far from my country. It was like in 2008, so it was like pretty long time ago, so it had like some special memory for me. And then for the South Korea, it was interesting because of the culture and the people. I mean, the local people and the local traditions. It was like totally like new for me, and it was like 2009, almost like 8 years ago, and it was like totally new experience for me that I had there, and it was super great. The next question is about that you were in Spain and traveled some different places. Which places would you recommend to visit? Which means of learning languages is the most effective in your opinion? And can you say some common things about life in Spain and Estonia? What are the differences? Well, this is coming from Elvira, and she asked this 3 questions or 4 questions in total, so I'm gonna like sum up everything and answer it like shortly. I was mostly in the Andalusia, in the southern part of Spain, and I would really recommend you to go to Sevilla, and this is like the capital of Andalusia. Granada, I really enjoyed there. It was super great city. Also, I would recommend you, of course, Huelva, like the place that I spent my half a year there. Well, although it's not a huge place, but it's a really super great place that I will always remember for the rest of my life, because it was super great times there. And I would also recommend you going to Cordoba. It was also another nice city that I have been. The next one is about learning languages. Like, I think the most like effective way of learning language is basically speaking, because I am like really into this communication part of languages. Because for me, when I'm learning languages, well, I know that learning grammar is pretty important, but I don't that much put effort on learning grammar until some point, because I prefer like speaking, communication. This is like main thing for me, and then after that grammar comes. So for me, like, it's like always like speaking to someone or native people, you know, locals, or basically going to that country and practice there if it's possible, is one of the greatest ways of like learning and language and improving yourself and becoming fluent. And I would say like There are a lot of differences between the living styles in Spain and Estonia. First of all, these countries are totally far from each other, and Estonia is in the north and Spain is in the south. And there are a lot of differences from the like the people's perspective, from the countries itself, because they're situated like located in different climate zones, and it really affects on the people's attitudes and their character, you know. So that's why it's pretty different, and each of them is like has some part in my heart, I would say. When it comes to our next question, it's actually from Bea, and she asked that what was the most ridiculous thing that has happened to you. Well, it's a really good question. I think it was well, I can speak about one memory of me from the high school. It was, I think, when I was in the ninth grade, and from the school we went to the summer camp to the southern part of Azerbaijan, and we were like living in the cottages, you know, like, I don't know if it's the correct word to use, like we were like living maybe like 9-10 of my classmates together in the same flat, let's say. And like it was like 3 or 2 a.m. It was like pretty really late, and like I remember one of my classmates, he put like a one dancing song in the middle of the night, and like everybody went like to the floor and started dancing. And I remember like our cottage was like just near the teacher's cottage, and when we started dancing, and obviously there was a really loud music, and the teachers came to like knock the door, and like my classmate, he turned off the computer, and like everybody like just showed that they're actually sleeping, although there was like a still music going on at 3 a.m. and we were like dancing, imagine. And it was like really crazy. And then like our teachers like started knocking the door, open the door, open the door, and nobody went to open the door. Like maybe like for 5 minutes they stayed there, and then like one of us, he just went to open the door, and then like our teachers, maybe there were like 4 or 5 of them, and they just took all of us to the outside like in the middle of the night, and they like told us to clean the whole this, you know, like this field. We were like kind of in the forest. They told us to clean the whole area because of like a punishment. And it was like one of the worst and like, let's say, funniest slash craziest nights that I have like spent it. And it was really funny, because like imagine like everybody was like watching you, all the like our classmates and like all this school, they were watching us, and we were like cleaning the whole like this area, because that we had this music thing on, and it was like in the middle of the night. And then we just like showed ourselves that we were not doing anything actually, but we were sleeping. And yeah, it was like really funny. Well, I hope also you laughed. Well, yeah, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed this Q&A session, or like episode, or whatever you can call it. I'm looking forward to see you again in the next episodes, and take care. Have a lot of fun. See you. Bye.